Getting ready to buy or sell a home in 30, 60, or 90 days? Then check out BundleSelect.com to find out how you could save 20% or more on your entire transaction. Save on real estate, lending, and title. With BundleSelect.com, technology and a personal concierge are at your service to save you time and money. Bundle Select's hand-picked team of experts will compete for your business, so you'll save thousands of dollars by bundling all of these services. BundleSelect.com gives you all the control, including using your own realtor. I'm Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live, and I have been on the radio educating consumers for years. By bundling services like real estate, lending, and title, you could save tens of thousands of dollars. Act now, and this new model could save you money on your move, lower your interest rate, or cover your closing costs. Visit BundleSelect.com. That's BundleSelect.com.
The estimated minimum savings are based on a comparison with the national average. Individual results may vary, and the estimated savings are not guaranteed. Bundle Select Inc. is a licensed real estate broker. California Bureau of Real Estate Broker license number 004666902.
Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Kuchera, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome in, Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thanks again for tuning in today. For those that are watching us and follow us on Facebook, thanks for continuing to interact. Give us that information. If you have any questions, usually we have time to respond to you after the show. I'll introduce my guest in just a couple minutes. We have a call-in guest today for our show. For more information, you could always go to RERL-1512.com. That's RERL-1512.com. Remember that for the last 7+ years, the focus has been education and information. What we do here at Real Estate Radio Live is work really hard to have great guests like we have today. Good content and information to help you, the consumer, make wise choices in and around your real estate. Pretty basic. We go pretty deep. We have different conversations with people to give more information. Anything around real estate, whether it's buying, selling, financing, building, constructing. We also do a lot of education on the investing side and different concept of investing in real estate. So be sure to tune in. If you need to reach me during the week, it's 408-838-9060. And lastly, be sure to download the podcast. That way you could follow the show. If you happen to miss us, you could always catch up and follow the show anytime at your convenience. You could go to iTunes and just type in Real Estate Radio Live, or you could go to our website, RERL-1512.com. and you could download the podcast there. All right, let me invite my guest in, Mr. Gene Guarino with Residential Assisted Living Academy. We've been trying to get Gene on for a while. Super excited about having Gene explain about what he's doing, some of the people he's helping in many different areas. So, Gene, welcome in. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks, Joe. Glad to be here.
Good. Well, thanks for taking the time. Why don't we do this first, Gene, if we can, give the audience an idea. Give us your background and then kind of your current roles and responsibilities, what you're up to today, and then you and I could jump into some of our talking points here.
Sounds good. Actually, I started real estate young. 18 years old was the first house. I was actually a professional musician, recording studio, small record label as a teenager. Rented a home for a couple of years, and we ran our businesses out of it. Landlord was terrible, so it was either we shut it down or we get a new place. We ended up buying a house up the street, no money down because I had no money, no credit, no clue. And that was the beginning to a long real estate career that's been going on now for 30-plus years. So residential real estate, commercial, but right now I do just one thing, and it's called residential assisted living.
Okay, very good. Well, tell us what is exactly, explain to the viewers now, but of course the podcasters are listening to it later. What exactly is assisted living? I mean, some people may know that, but it's good to get it from the expert.
Sure. A home is just a home, and the question is who's living in it. So as real estate investors, a lot of times we take a home and rent it to a family for a year or two. So imagine taking that same home, and I'm going to give you two scenarios. Take that same home and lease it out by the bedroom to seniors. So the Golden Girls model is what we call that. 4 seniors, maybe they're living together, paying $1,000 a month each. Instead of $2,000 for the whole house, $1,000 a month, they now have a room and shared kitchen and family room, and now it's a good situation for them. No care is provided. On the other spectrum of it, we take that single-family home, we do a little bit of conversion, get it licensed and have caregivers, not medical, not nurses, not doctors, but caregivers taking care of those seniors 24/7. And those people will spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month for that care, and we'll probably have 8 or 10, maybe more seniors in that home at any given time.
Got it. So tell us a little bit about, Gene, how this differs from a nursing home. I know there's all kinds of different models out there, and what we do know is the aging population. One of the things I love about this model, what you're doing with people, is that everybody, let's face it, we're all getting older. However, we're living longer, and there needs to be different alternatives for people. So how does this differ from the typical kind of a nursing home?
Exactly right. I always say, Joe, that we're all going to get involved in assisted living one way or the other. The question is how. So this differs from nursing homes because of that word nursing. We don't have nurses, they do. When you have a skilled nursing facility, also known as a SNF, or a nursing home, nursing is the key point. You have 24-hour nurses on staff there. That's not what we do. Not everybody needs a nursing home or a skilled nursing facility, but they can't live at home alone. The kids can't quit their job, come take care. So it's right in between that staying at home alone or a Golden Girls and the actual nursing facility, or convalescent home is what is some older terms that people would use. The nursing home with nursing staff, we're right in between. Single family home with caregivers, not nurses. They're being taken care of 24/7 though.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit again why. I mean, I know you had a passion for this. You got into real estate early on. It was in your blood. You continue to do this. You love it. But give us kind of an idea of why you're doing this, Gene, when, obviously with your background, you could be doing a number of different things with real estate. What's appealed to you on this, and why does it continue to drive the passion to go in this direction with this model?
When I first heard about this, it was about 15 years ago. There was a gentleman in the front of the room sharing a lot about real estate alternative investment opportunities, and one of them that he shared was assisted living. So I ran up to the front and said, "Tell me more." And he said, "Well, I can't. I don't actually do it. I'm just telling you, you should do it." So I was kind of disappointed. And when I went to look for people who were doing this in a residential setting, they weren't willing to share with me how. They didn't want to share the secrets. So my interest kind of went down, but 5, 6, 7 years ago, my mom started to need help. That's when it became real. Once we started to look for what are the alternatives to take care of a loved one, a parent or a grandparent, it became very clear that there's a crisis, which also means an opportunity. So at that point, I didn't like the alternatives we had for putting mom in what I call a big box facility, 200 people, nameless, faceless staff, and treated like a number. She lived in a home, and I wanted her to be in a home. So that's when I vowed to create this home-like situation where it is actually a home in a neighborhood, not a hotel that looks like or feels like, but an actual home where these seniors can live. So initially it was all about the money, but then it became mom needed help. And the alternative is very expensive and just out of control in a lot of cases. So everything is going this way demographically from an entrepreneur standpoint, business-wise. It just made sense that if I'm going to do something, I want to be the last thing that I do. Not the next, not the first, but the last thing that I do. This, senior housing, is the place to be for the next 20 or 30 years.
Right. Tell us about the opportunity for locations. I think you're in Arizona, is that correct?
Correct. I'm in Arizona.
And so are you teaching people? Are you giving this all over the place? Do you see this opportunity, Gene, no matter where people live or where their businesses are or where investments, or are there certain areas you would say, you know what, this might be a better opportunity in certain geographical areas?
It's a great question because seniors are aging all over the country. There's a misconception that when somebody turns 65, they just move south. Mm-hmm. If you're east of the Mississippi, you go to Florida, west of the Mississippi, you go to Arizona. And that's not reality. Most people simply stay in that home. They stay where the kids are, their grandkids are, and they age in place right there. So you literally can do this anywhere. But demographics, what I'm looking for is people my age, 50 or 60, their parents are 80 or 90. That's the clientele. The customer is really the family, not the person living in the home.
I see.
Yeah, then what I'm looking for is not under average, meaning the low-end home or area or neighborhood, but more of the upper end. Not the top of the top cream of the crop, but out of 5 levels, a level 3, 4 is kind of the sweet spot. So it's an upper middle income in a nice neighborhood where the people there have parents who are aging and they want them to be close by so they can visit them on a regular basis.
Got it. We're going to take a break in just a couple of minutes, and we're with Gene Guarino again, talking about residential assisted living, the academy that he runs. If someone's right now, of course, or on the podcast later that they're listening to Gene, if they want more information about how to contact you or about this program, what's the best place to do that? How would they go about getting in contact with you?
I put together a free training and offer just for your people, Joe. It's called RERL-101.
Great.
RERL101.com.
Very good. And they could go to that website and then take it from there, self-explanatory.
Exactly.
Great. Very good. All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break just for a minute or so. For those that are still watching us streaming live on Facebook, stick with us. For the sake of the podcast, we take a quick 1-minute break, and then we're going to come back. We're talking to Gene Guarino again. He is with Residential Assisted Living Academy, teaching people how to put this program together. Very exciting. And keep in mind, again, aging population, housing shortages, there's all kinds of obstacles out there, and you have to be creative. Gene has done this. He's creative, come up with a model and a really something that you could not only be of great assistance to, but make money at the same time. Before we duck out, is that kind of the idea, Gene? I mean, how would you phrase that?
It is. Actually, our motto is do good and do well.
There you
go.
Do
good for other people and do well financially. You can make a ton of money in this, but I also want you to be thinking I'm helping other people.
Right. Good point. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Again, this is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Stick with us, which is going to be a quick minute. We're going to come back, and we'll continue the show in just a couple minutes. Thanks.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
Getting ready to buy or sell a home in 30, 60, or 90 days? Then check out bundleselect.com to find out how you could save 20% or more on your entire transaction. Save on real estate, lending, and title. With bundleselect.com, technology and a personal concierge are at your service to save you time and money. Bundle Select's hand-picked team of experts will compete for your business, so you'll save thousands of dollars by bundling all of these services. BundleSelect.com gives you all the control, including using your own realtor. I'm Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live, and I have been on the radio educating consumers for years. By bundling services like real estate, lending, and title, you could save tens of thousands of dollars. Act now, and this new model could save you money on your move, lower your interest rate, or cover your closing costs. Visit BundleSelect.com. That's BundleSelect.com.
The estimated minimum savings are based on a comparison with the national average. Individual results may vary, and the estimated savings are not guaranteed. Bundle Select Inc. is a licensed real estate broker. California Bureau of Real Estate Broker license number 004-66902.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thanks for those, again, following us on Facebook. We are with you typically 3 days a week. We try to keep to our schedule Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. However, we also do some Friday shows sometimes, depending on our partner, Jack Russo, who typically comes in once a week and does starting something new in Silicon Valley. We have a great, exciting series every single week that talks about startups, what's going on in Silicon Valley, how does it relate to real estate, what you need to know, and much more. For more information, you could always go to RERadiolive.com. Today we have on the phone, kind enough to spend some time with us, Gene Guarino. He's with Residential Assisted Living Academy. He has put together this incredible model over the years to facilitate another investment for someone that you could investment in your portfolio for real estate. But just as important, as Gene mentioned in the first segment, is you're helping people at the same time. We have an aging population. Everybody knows that. People are living longer. And the good news is they are more active longer. It's no longer, Gene could speak to this, maybe you could do for a couple minutes, Gene. There's no longer people really, for the most part, retiring at 65 and sitting in a rocking chair and doing nothing, right? We have an active community, and that means a big difference in the way the economy works with them.
Yeah, the baby boomers, we talk about them all the time, 77 million of us, but baby boomers have changed our economic situation throughout the world on a consistent basis. Mm-hmm. We're right in the middle of that next one. The oldest baby boomer is 71 years old. So maybe they've been retired for 5 or 6 years, but they're certainly not sitting around. They're on cruise ships, pickleball, golf courses, and so on, but they're not in assisted living yet. Their parents may be, but they're not there yet, but they're coming.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the model, how much money can be made doing something like this. Give us kind of I know if someone's interested, I know people will be calling you and checking in for the workshop, but what realistically could be made here?
Let's go 2 different directions, real estate, and then we'll do business. So
perfect.
With buy and hold real estate, a lot of times people think about how much do they make per month after all their expenses. Mm-hmm. And in a single family home, it could be $100 a door, or a house, maybe $200 or $300, depending on the location of the country, the price they got. So it's $100 or so per door. Apartment building could be the same, where maybe it's 100 units, $100 a door. In these homes, if you just wanted to buy the real estate and lease it to an operator of the residential assisted living, mm-hmm. you could potentially double the rent and have a long-term tenant. Not a 1-year lease, but a 5-year lease. And they're going to be low impact because the people literally living in the house, they're not your tenant. Those are the residents in the home. They're not trashing the house. They're 80 years old. The biggest damage might be they rock once too many times in their lazy boy and put a hole in the sheetrock. Mm-hmm. So it's low impact, long-term tenants at a higher than fair market rent. So from the real estate side, you can crush it there.
Okay.
On the business side, I'm going to give you some numbers, some rules of thumb, and I don't want it to bog your mind down, but just get the opportunity. $3,750 per month is what the average person pays right now in the U.S. in a private room in assisted living.
Okay.
Now, that includes Medicare, Medicaid, and so on, and I don't focus on that. We focus on private pay, which is the higher end of that. So $3,750, let's round it up to $4,000 a month. In a single-family home, depending on the state you're in, they'll allow you to have 8, 10, 12, some states like Texas, 16 people in a single-family home for this residential assisted living. Now, first, it's a little bigger than your average home. It's not a 3-bed, 2-bath home. It's a bigger home that you probably couldn't rent out in cash flow. So it's a nicer home in a nicer area. Let's just say there's 10 people in that home. Could be 5 bedrooms, could be 10 bedrooms. 2 in a bedroom, semi-private, or private rooms, or a combination of. Mm-hmm. So $4,000 per person times 10 is $40,000 gross income potential per month. Mm. Falling to the bottom line after all expenses, which is the caregivers, the food, the utilities, the house, everything, is about 30% of that gross income.
Okay.
So 30% of that, $12,000 a month, that would be a reasonable number for an average home in assisted living right now.
That's good. That's great. I mean, that's a heck of a business model. And what I love about this is, again, this combination you created, Gene, and that is a real estate investment, helping people at the same time, and a business opportunity. So these are these situations where people are constantly looking for opportunities, real estate investments, and I'll speak to that for a moment here because I can tell you the most calls I get, emails, information, people are asking me, Joe, where should I invest? It's too expensive in the Silicon Valley. It's hard to get a rate on return. We know that. And so I'll always tell them, looking for other opportunities, either outside of Silicon Valley and in situations and models like you're talking about here today, Gene. I think this is just another example when you're listening to this show today and you're listening to the podcast. For those out there that are thinking, gosh, I just don't know what to invest in. I don't want to invest here. It doesn't make any sense to spend $200,000 or $300,000 and buy $1 million property that doesn't cash flow. The numbers don't work. Keep in mind there's opportunities out there. One of the ones that Gene's talking about today, do yourself a favor, look at this program, this workshop, and it just might be the right fit for you. I mean, the other thing, Gene, speak to for a minute, you've seen this too, is that old kind of philosophy of, well, gee, be careful about investing in property that you're not, an hour away from or you can't drive from and all that nonsense that was years ago.
Yeah.
Speak to that a little bit because you've got some experience in this and people investing in real estate in different parts of the country.
Yeah, one of the things I always say is live where you want, but invest where the numbers make sense, especially those who are living in very expensive markets where it's really hard to justify paying $1 million for a 2-bed, 1-bath flat in an area that you have no idea how people can afford it. Right. You're right. When we talk about different locations and why to invest and how to invest and when to invest, the numbers have to make sense. again, doing something long distance, let's talk specifically about this. I'm not at my business. I don't go there, meaning the residential assisted living homes, but maybe once every 6 weeks. We do a training 8 times a year, and that's about the only time I physically go there. We get in a bus and go to see the homes. Other than that, I'll talk to my manager over the phone. We'll text back and forth like we have a couple of times today. I'll even Skype once every other week or so, but I'm hands off as much as I can. It could be on the other side of the planet for that matter. It just happens to be 40 minutes away from the house, but I'm still not going there on a daily basis.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely. The true terms of business and cash flow and opportunity without having to be somewhere 10 or 12 hours a day. Any rules and regulations around what you're doing here? Is there anything that people should know about? Of course, we'll give that information out more before we leave here today, but anything related to that?
Sure. Every state is different. So you mentioned California. In California, what we do is called RCFE. 4 letters stands for Residential Care for the Elderly. So every state has a name for it, and it's important to know the name. Because if I were in Arizona and I went to the zoning board and said, I want to open an RCFE, they'd say, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you were in California and said, I want to open an assisted living facility, they're going to say, you can't. That's like saying I want a gas station in the middle of a neighborhood. But if you're saying I want to open an RCFE, that you can do. Here's the paperwork, fill it in. So now every state has rules and regulations. Then each community. So every city is going to have their own rules and regs as to what you can do or not. I always talk about finding out what the rules of the game are. Once you know what the rules of the game are, we know how to play. And if they say we can have 6 people in the home, or you can have more than that if you have a sprinkler system, we just need to decide. If I spend $20,000 on a sprinkler system in the home and I can add 6 more bedrooms, double my income, is it worth doing?
Right.
I would say yes. Again, back to the numbers. So some people who do this on a mom and pop basis, let me just start small, get a home in California, wherever. I'm going to have 6 people in the home because it's a small home in an average area and so on. They're only going to be able to make just so much.
Right.
But if they say, let me put some more money in, have a better home in a better area, and now I have twice as much gross income and I can charge more because it's nicer, well, now the numbers become what I'm talking about, that 10, 15, 20,000 net per month.
Right. That's great. So in this, I'm just guessing, this is something that a person could invest in or work on, Gene, a group of people, an investment group, someone could gather money to, I'm guessing that the opportunities are kind of endless depending on how you want to structure this.
Yeah, the key is to have what I'm going to call an operator, somebody who is going to do the heavy lifting.
Okay.
The money is the easy part. Let's be real. Raising capital is relatively easy once you know how it's done and how to do it, what not to do, and so on. This is the easiest thing I've ever raised capital for.
Wow.
Say senior housing, assisted living, the numbers that we're talking about, the demographics that are coming, it's off the chart. It's the easiest thing. But location is critical. Having somebody managing that business is critical to the success as well. All of those things need to come into play. So if somebody's saying, I truly just want to invest, write a check and just send me a check once a month or once a quarter, that's fine. But your return is going to be less than if you're saying, hey, I'll put up the money. I want a guarantee on my money. Give me 4, 5, 6%, and I want a share of the profit. So you're not involved, but you're getting a piece, taking a little bit of the risk and receiving that. That's good. If you really want to make the big money, like I do, own the real estate in one entity, own the business in a separate entity, put in 5 or 10 hours a week of work to manage the manager, because that's really what I do. Now you can be making much, much higher rates of return.
Perfect. Well, again, we just got a minute or so left with Gene, and he's with us talking about Residential Assisted Living Academy. I'll say again before I have Gene give the information out, for those people out there for several years asking me, hey, Joe, what opportunities exist? Real estate, I want to get into it. I want to be part of it, but I just don't know what to do. It doesn't make sense here. I want to really get this message across to those people because this is an opportunity that lends itself, and I would encourage anybody that if you're open-minded and you have some money, you want to invest in real estate, you see opportunities, take a look at this because there are other ways to invest in real estate and thrive other than just buy yourself a typical single-family home or multi-unit. That's fine too, but there are other ways to thrive in real estate, acquire real estate, have the holdings, and as Gene talks about, make a business out of it as well. So before we finish up, Gene, again, give the listeners an idea where they could reach you or find out more information about this.
Got it. Put together this free training. It's about an hour and 15 minutes, broken down into 7 parts, RAL 101. So 3 letters, RAL, 3 numbers, 101.com. You can always go to our website, RALacademy.com. Lots of videos and webinars there for you as well.
Okay. And the other thing, I don't want to speak out of turn, but do you do these workshops and things, different locations, or is it just in Arizona? Tell us a little bit about what your schedule's like with these.
We do 8 trainings a year, all in Arizona.
Okay.
The big reason why we do it is you need to see the house.
Right.
So you come into my house, you see my manager, caregivers, the residents. You see it from the inside out, the context for the content. I can't replicate that experience with that access other than right here in my own homes. That's why I share it with you.
No, I think that's a great idea. So can you tell us, obviously they see it on the website, how many more are you doing this year now in Arizona?
You got it. Actually, we're starting one this weekend, January. But the next one is July 13 to 15, and we do 80 years. So July, then September, and then through the rest of the year, I think we have 3 more at that point.
Great. Hey, Gene, I want to thank you again for your time. I love this model. It's great finally catching up, and maybe in the next couple of months we could have you back on, give us an update, and great show, great information. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks again. Joe Kuchera at the Real Estate Radio Live. Gene Guarino again with Residential Assisted Living Academy. Great program. I'm telling you, if you're watching the show today, of course, on Facebook, contact him, or you could pick it up on the podcast later. And, of course, for more information, you could always go to RERL-1512.com. For Joe Kuchera again, thanks for sitting in. Thanks for following the show. Until next time, take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at RERadiolive.com.